And we're all looking at that. I mean, we've had some instances in certain flu vaccines where there's been like a long-term kind of complication of Guillain-Barré syndrome and things like that. There have been some rare, very rare cases of some long-term side effects. Overall, for the community, the risk benefit for the community is still favorable for getting a vaccine, especially in the light of the fact that we know that there are severe outcomes with the disease itself, right? I mean, if the disease itself wasn't itself, either lethal or associated with long-term complications, we wouldn't even be talking about a vaccine, right? So we have to weigh it in from a public health perspective. We look at the risk versus benefits for the whole community. And that's not to say that we don't care about the one out of, thousands and thousands that get the vaccine that might experience a side effect. We do, but the risk benefit for the group is still there. And the trials are 2 years long, and they will be following up on all of that, and we will get a better understanding of what those are. Right now, the vaccines are the adverse events that we have seen in the vaccines so far. There's been no difference between the control group and the vaccine group with respect to serious adverse events. So that's one thing that's reassuring. Yeah. There's been, in the vaccine volunteers, there have been injection site reactions. About 10 to 15% of the people in the trials have experienced a clinically they called it significantly noticeable adverse event, which they were injection site reactions, so like soreness at the site of the injection, headaches, fatigue, muscle aches, things like that, sort of like more malaise type syndromes, and they can last up to like a day and a half. So some people actually did feel kind of crummy after they got the first dose. It's important to get the second one, even if you didn't feel good after you got the first one, because the second one kind of the first one primes your immune system, and the second one will like just complete your protection. Okay. But really, the short-term adverse event profile looks very good. And then we'll be following up for 2 years on those patients. Mm-hmm. And then after that, even, I should say, and just like we do with any vaccine, any adverse events that go into a system, and I know you probably have the same thing in the UK. We have it in the US called VAERS, which is like the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. And anything that's related to a vaccine gets reported to that. And a lot of the things that get reported are there's not like a causal relationship established, but it's reported anyway. And you can look that up. It's publicly available information.
So hypothetically, what happens if you just took half of the vaccine? Like if you just got dose one?
I don't know what happens, actually. I mean, I know that's probably discouraged because, well, if you think about it, like, so there's, 20 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, I believe, and that will only cover 10 million people because everybody has to get it twice. So if you do that, I mean, you're kind of not letting somebody else get it that would have otherwise been able to get it, right?
Is it the same?
I guess,
is it the same thing twice?
So for the Pfizer vaccine, it is the same thing twice.
Okay.
I'm looking right now. They have 40. So there's between Moderna and Pfizer in December, there's 40 million doses. So that's 20 million people can get vaccinated in December. Well, December, January. Yeah. So yes, it's the same thing twice. There's the AstraZeneca vaccine they might have to do a confirmatory trial. They may have a half dose for their their loading dose, the first one, but there was a little bit of an irregularity in the trial, whereas some of the people got, there was a manufacturing error where some of the people got like a half dose and it actually ended up working better in that trial. Right. So they might have to confirm that, and that's why that's not being looked at right now for emergency use, but it might be.